Have you ever thought about giving up everything to pursue your dreams? Let me tell you a story about a young shepherd who sold his only asset, his flock, to chase a treasure at the Egyptian pyramids. This tale is adapted from the famous book, The Alchemist. Santiago's journey will help you easily learn valuable lessons without having to read the book. Without further ado, let's embark on this treasure-seeking adventure with the young shepherd.
The Andalusian sun shines brightly, spreading its golden light over the lush green fields. Amid this peaceful scene, a young shepherd named Santiago leisurely guides his flock of sheep in search of food. Santiago loves the endless fields, the fresh scent of grass, and the soft wool of his sheep. He knows every hill, stream, and tree in his homeland by heart. Yet deep inside, Santiago harbors a burning desire to travel to far-off lands and uncover the wonders hidden in the vast world. On quiet nights, when the sheep are fast asleep, Santiago often gazes at the starry sky, dreaming of adventures from the stories he has read. He longs to step into unfamiliar cities, meet new people, and experience life's many marvels. One night, a strange dream came to Santiago. He saw himself standing in a vast desert, with the majestic Egyptian pyramids towering before him, reaching up to the sky. A young boy appeared, took his hand, and led him closer to the base of the pyramids.
"If you come here, you will find a treasure,"
the boy's clear voice echoed. Santiago woke up with a start, his heart pounding. The dream felt so real that he could almost feel the desert's scorching heat, the thick scent of dust, and the powerful urge to set off in search of the treasure. In the days that followed, the dream kept returning, haunting Santiago's thoughts. He was torn between two choices: to continue his simple life as a shepherd, or to leave everything behind and chase after his dream. One morning, while leading his flock to graze, Santiago came across an old man sitting under an ancient oak tree, reading a book. The old man had hair as white as snow and deep blue eyes that seemed to hold all the knowledge of the sky. Gathering his courage, Santiago approached and told the old man about his strange dream.
"That is the call of destiny. Every person is born with a mission they must fulfill. Your dream is a sign, a guiding message from the universe. Listen to your heart. It will show you the right path."
The old man introduced himself as Melchizedek, the king of Salem. He gave Santiago 2 stones, Urim and Thummim, treasures that could help him interpret omens along his journey. Melchizedek advised Santiago to sell his flock, take his savings, and set off to search for the treasure. Melchizedek's advice was like a beam of light piercing through Santiago's doubts. After days of contemplation, he decided to sell his flock, take the 3 ancient gold coins he had saved, and journey to Africa. A grand adventure awaited, and Santiago was ready to embrace it, his heart filled with the passion and energy of youth, stepping boldly onto the path of his destiny. As soon as Santiago set foot in Tangier, he felt as if he had stepped into a maze filled with narrow streets carrying unfamiliar scents. The calls of vendors in an unknown Arabic language and the vibrant, colorful clothing overwhelmed him. Excitement mixed with bewilderment surged within him. Fingering the 3 gold coins in his pocket, he thought, "This is the start of a great adventure." At that moment, a young man dressed like a Westerner approached and greeted him in Spanish.
"Hello, friend. Are you new to Tangier?"
Santiago nodded, his curiosity piqued. The man smiled warmly, introduced himself as a local, and appeared well-versed in the city. Eager and trusting, Santiago quickly confided in him, sharing the dream of treasure by the pyramids and mentioning the money he carried.
"I can take you there. The journey is far, though. We'll need 2 camels to make the trip."
In the naivety of youth, Santiago handed over all his money to the stranger.
"We're leaving tomorrow, right?"
"Absolutely. Tomorrow, you'll see one of the wonders of the world."
They strolled through the bustling streets, weaving through the crowded market. Santiago was mesmerized by the sights, particularly a silver sword glinting in the sunlight. So distracted was he that he didn't notice the man slipping away into the crowd. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Santiago waited anxiously in the square, but the man was nowhere to be found. The longer he waited, the more uneasy he became. A sinking feeling crept into his heart. Something was terribly wrong. Night fell and the square grew silent. Then a sudden rainstorm swept through. Santiago sank to the ground, tears streaming down his face as he realized he had been deceived. His lifetime savings, his dream of treasure, everything had vanished like smoke.
How could I have been so foolish? How could I trust someone so easily?
For the first time away from home, the young man tasted the bitterness of betrayal and loss. His first lesson on the road of life had come in the harshest way possible. Yet, in that moment of despair, Santiago felt a spark ignite within him. He realized he needed to become stronger and wiser if he wanted to continue chasing his dream. Wiping his tears, he stood up with renewed determination. He resolved not to let this setback defeat him. The journey ahead was still long, and he needed to learn how to survive in a world full of traps and challenges. The next morning, Santiago wandered through the bustling market, searching for work. At the very least, he needed something to eat before he could think about continuing his quest for the treasure. But finding a job in the market wasn't easy. Most of the merchants were small traders who managed their stalls alone and didn't need extra help. Santiago went from stall to stall, asking for work, only to be turned away each time. Half a day passed, and he still hadn't found a job. His stomach growled with hunger, and disappointment weighed heavily on him. Santiago began to feel ashamed of his helplessness. Fortunately, just as despair began to overwhelm him, a small crystal shop tucked away on a quiet slope caught his attention. Pushing open the door, Santiago saw an old man sitting inside.
Sir, are you hiring?
You want to work for me? What do you know about crystals?
I don't know anything, but I can learn. I'm willing to do anything.
The old man gave Santiago a sharp look.
You seem like a hardworking young man. All right, I'll give you a chance. But don't expect a high wage.
Santiago eagerly accepted the job. His first task was to clean hundreds of crystal glasses covered in dust. Although the old man was strict, he patiently taught Santiago how to distinguish between different types of crystal and how to arrange them to attract customers.
Crystal is fragile and delicate. Just like life, you must be careful and meticulous in everything you do.
Santiago worked tirelessly, quickly learning everything from cleaning and organizing to greeting customers. He realized what matters is taking action. Dreams alone aren't enough. You have to act on them. One day, Santiago suggested setting up an extra display shelf outside the shop to draw in passers-by.
That's not a good idea. People might bump into it and break the crystal.
But how can we know it won't work unless we try? We can build a sturdier shelf and arrange things more carefully.
The old man fell silent, thinking it over, and finally agreed. The new display quickly caught the attention of customers, and the shop's sales increased significantly. Though the old man didn't say it, he was pleased with Santiago's initiative. Time passed. From a simple shepherd, Santiago transformed into a resourceful salesman. He learned the art of trade, how to communicate in Arabic, and steadily saved up a decent amount of money. More importantly, he absorbed valuable lessons from the old man about perseverance, hard work, and the importance of taking action.
Don't fear failure. Failure is a part of life. What matters is that you stand back up each time and keep moving forward.
These lessons shaped Santiago, making him stronger and more confident in pursuing his dream. After a year of diligent work at the crystal shop, Santiago had saved enough to return to Andalusia. He imagined reuniting with his family, buying more sheep, and perhaps even getting married. A peaceful, comfortable life awaited him. But every night, the dream of the treasure by the Egyptian pyramids returned, stirring a powerful longing within him.
but I'd spend my days wandering the same familiar fields, and in the end, I'd still just be a shepherd.
He recalled the words of King Melchizedek.
When you truly desire something, the universe conspires to help you achieve it.
I can't give up. I have to find my treasure.
He approached the crystal shop owner to share his decision. The old man wasn't surprised. Instead, he gave Santiago a warm smile.
You've learned the most important lesson here. Now, go and follow the call of your heart.
The vast desert stretched endlessly before Santiago, a new challenge awaiting his courage and perseverance. The first days in the desert were grueling. Scorching heat that burned his skin, clouds of swirling dust, and an unsettling silence that tested his patience.
The desert is harsh, but it's also magnificent.
One afternoon, as the caravan paused to rest, Santiago leaned against a palm tree, rereading the book King Melchizedek had given him. Suddenly, he felt someone standing behind him. Turning around, he saw an old man with a flowing white beard, riding a white horse. A falcon perched on the man's shoulder, and his piercing gaze seemed to look straight into Santiago's soul.
You're searching for a treasure, aren't you?
The old man asked, his voice deep and warm, like the desert wind.
How do you know?
I've been watching. I'm the Alchemist. I know you're seeking your personal legend.
What is a personal legend?
It's what you've always longed for, deep in your heart. It's the reason you exist in this world.
The alchemist sat down beside Santiago and began to speak about the language of the universe.
Everything in the world communicates. The sand, the wind, the sun, all are part of the same world language. You must learn to listen to them.
Santiago listened intently. He had never imagined that even the sand, the wind, and the sun could have a voice.
How can I listen to them?
Listen to your heart. It knows everything, for it came from the soul of the world, and one day it will return there.
The alchemist began teaching Santiago how to feel the movements of the universe, how to recognize signs and omens along his path.
When you truly desire something, the universe conspires to help you achieve it, but you must learn to recognize the signs and the guidance the universe provides.
The caravan resumed its journey, and soon they arrived at the lush oasis of Al Fayoum. Amidst the rustling palm trees, Santiago met Fatima, a beautiful desert girl with deep, enchanting eyes. One glance was enough for Santiago to feel that she was the love of his life.
My name is Fatima. What's yours?
I'm Santiago. I've come from a faraway land, searching for treasure.
Day after day, they spent hours by the well, sharing stories about life, dreams, and aspirations. Santiago poured his heart out to Fatima, confessing his love.
I love you, Fatima. I want you to be my wife.
Fatima, too, had fallen in love with Santiago, but as a daughter of the desert, she understood the harsh rules of their land.
The desert takes our men away, but does not always bring them back.
Torn between his love for Fatima and his dream of finding the treasure, Santiago sought the advice of the alchemist.
Tell me, Master, which is more important, love or one's dream?
The alchemist smiled knowingly.
True love will never prevent a man from pursuing his personal legend. If it does, it is not true love, for love understands all things.
Santiago returned to Fatima with a heavy heart.
I must leave, Fatima, but the thought of being apart from you pains me.
Fatima gently held Santiago's hand.
Go, Santiago, follow your destiny. If I am truly a part of your life's purpose, you will return to me.
Their farewell was bittersweet, their hearts filled with both longing and determination. Fatima's words became Santiago's guiding light. He realized that true love does not bind, it liberates and inspires. After months of hardship, Santiago finally arrived at the Egyptian pyramids, the place his dream of treasure had led him to. His heart raced with a mix of joy and excitement.
I've made it. The treasure must be close.
Under the faint moonlight, Santiago began digging. He dug hole after hole until he was drenched in sweat and utterly exhausted. But the treasure was nowhere to be found. Dust swirled and the desert wind howled as if mocking him.
Was I wrong? Or is the treasure just an illusion?
After days of searching in vain, Santiago was drained and hopeless. The dream of treasure seemed to shatter before him. Just then, a band of thieves appeared. They beat him mercilessly and stole what little money he had left.
What are you doing here?
The leader of the thieves demanded.
I'm looking for treasure.
Treasure? Only fools believe in treasure.
Santiago collapsed on the sand, overcome by physical pain and despair. He had lost everything: his money, his strength, and even his faith in his dream. In his darkest moment, Santiago overheard the leader of the thieves said,
I once had a dream too, about treasure buried under a sycamore tree in a ruined church in Spain.
Santiago lifted his head, his eyes flickering with a glimmer of hope.
In Spain?
Yes, but I'm not stupid enough to believe in dreams because treasure is only for fools.
With that, the thieves left, leaving Santiago alone in the vast desert. Slowly, Santiago stood up, brushing the sand off his body. The thief's words struck him like lightning. He suddenly remembered his own dream, the ruined church back in his hometown, where he had once herded sheep and first dreamt of treasure.
The treasure isn't here. It's where my journey began.
Santiago decided to return to Spain. He sold his last camel, bought a ticket, and set off on his journey home. His heart was full of hope. He had finally understood the true meaning of his adventure. The treasure wasn't just the goal, but the journey itself. Santiago returned to the old church where he had once herded sheep and dreamt of his destiny. The sycamore tree still stood tall, as if waiting for his return.
I've come full circle. In the end, I've returned to where it all began.
He began digging beneath the tree. After just a few strikes of the spade, he hit something solid, a heavy wooden chest. Opening it, Santiago found it filled with gold coins and dazzling treasures that shimmered in the sunlight.
I found the treasure!
Santiago exclaimed in joy. Yet, as he held the gold coins in his hands, he realized that the real treasure wasn't the riches before him. It was the experiences, the lessons, and the people he had encountered along the way. It was the growth, courage, love, and the enlightenment about the meaning of life. Santiago returned to the Al Fayoum oasis to find Fatima. He brought with him not only material wealth, but also the spiritual riches he had gathered. They reunited in boundless happiness.
I always knew you would return.
Santiago exclaimed in joy.
Because you are part of my personal legend.
The once young shepherd was now a mature man, rich both in spirit and possessions, ready for new adventures in life. He had discovered his true treasure and understood that the journey of pursuing one's dreams never truly ends.